Oh man, I just spoke at an event today, and this cute girl, woman, she's 25, woman, everyone's a girl to me. Anyone that's younger than me is a girl. Woman came up, graduated in her career, and she's like, I want to be a business owner. So I'm thinking about starting a business. And I asked her a couple more follow-up questions just to really understand what her situation is. She's literally not tied down at all. She has like a rent payment. That's it. Cars paid for, no student loan, no husband, no kids. Like she's a free bird, she can do whatever. And I said, have you ever thought of purchasing a business? And she's like, oh, no, 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 that's too big. I said, do you understand that it's easier to buy a business than it is to start a business? And it hadn't even occurred to her that would be the case. Because when you buy something that's existing, you have income coming off of that business, and the bank will loan on that income on the accounts receivable. Because she's female and young, you can also get an SBA loan to cover the difference. But
That's how I
I'm
got
digressing.
my business.
But specific to real estate, my husband's in real estate, so I happen to know a lot about. So many people are like, oh, I'm going to start with this $500,000 duplex and just see how it goes. That's harder. That is harder than buying a $5 million building, because in a $5 million building, you already have tenants, you already have history, you have everything. This is what lenders want to see in this property performance. At a $500,000 duplex, you are literally going to pledge your house, your car, your firstborn, everything to get that $500,000 duplex. On a $5 million building, you may or may not have personal recourse on that loan. So therefore, the risk is significantly mitigated in that situation. And I don't know why women in particular want to box themselves in to be small. You got to think big. I mean, there's no reason, okay, I'm going to do this on the side, or I'm going to do that. No, jump in. Now's the time. There is never going to be a better time than right now.
So let me ask you, like, how do you use the law of attraction to towards your career and everything?
So that's in the book too. And actually it's something that I talked about today. So I was at a conference a couple weeks ago with my husband, who's in commercial real estate, like I said, and we were with all of the largest commercial property owners. We're all in Sun Valley together, in the nation. We're all together, and there was not a cosmetologist among them as their wives. There was not a partner that was not equal to the person there that was in real estate. Like attracts like. If you want to attract, marry a doctor, you probably need some education. Same thing in business partners. If you want to attract someone who hustles, you can't be, this person that's waking up at 10 a.m. and going to the club all night. The hustler doesn't want to hang out with you. Like attracts like. And so, and the funny part about it is it's this vicious cycle, is that you keep attracting and attracting and attracting people, more opportunities, more opportunities, for lack of I don't have another synonym for that. But the more you put your energy out there, you put your desires out there, you put your intentions out there, you are going to get those reflected back to you. And that can be negative or positive, but you are going to get that reflect.
Yeah, I've experienced that myself too. So besides the law of attraction, tell us some other tips to run a successful business and the systems that you would tell them to put in place to have it run without them. Because, as a mom, you put your business together and then realized you have to have an exit strategy and you have to have things in place so you can free up your time and not always be the guy, or in your case, the gal.
The girl. Yes. I think that is a common misconception. Um, if you have a business that doesn't, can't run without you for a week, for 2 weeks or whatever, you don't have a business, you have a job. You
Mhm,
gave yourself a job.
mhm,
Ideally, you would have people in, so you have your systems in place, your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, and they're followed exactly. So the same thing is done every single time. Let's use McDonald's as an example. If I were to show up at McDonald's right this instant, I would know how to do absolutely everything because it's written in English and Spanish right in front of the stand, or right in front of the area where you're working in. You take the bun, you put the pickles on. This is what the pickles look like at this exact thing. 1 squirt of ketchup, 1 squirt of mustard. So you get the same product every single time. If you go to a McDonald's in Michigan and McDonald's in California, it's going to taste the same because those systems have been standardized. So when you are a business owner, your optimal place is to be working on the business, not in the business. Okay, if you're working in the business, you have a job. I want you to think about a ladder. Okay, so an employee would be on the lowest rung of the ladder. So they are literally selling their time for money. The second thing would be a self-employed person. So that's a person that like does nails, cuts hair, that type of thing. So like if my hair girl broke her hand, she'd be out of business. Okay. The next level is a business owner. Okay. So if you, excuse me, business operator. So that is you working in the business. That is you taking phone calls, you taking out the trash, that type of thing. Now, there is a time and a season for that. Let me just tell you, I have taken out a lot of trash. I have pulled a lot of, overnighters. I have slept in my office. There is a time and a season for that. But ideally, you want to get away from that by putting your systems in. So then the next level would be a business owner. Okay. So that is someone who works on the business, not in the business. So you are the big picture thinker. You are exit strategy. You are the 10-year goals. You are the 3-year picture, the 90-day rocks. You are giving that direction. You are George Washington crossing the Delaware, pointing the way. Then the top level is an investment, and massive capital is the perfect example of this. So Warren Buffett is the largest shareholder in Coca-Cola. Does he show up to Coca-Cola every day? No, he does not. He invests the money and Coca-Cola does the work for him. Same thing with real estate, same thing with actually any other industry. The investor is the highest level. So you are not selling your time for money, you are selling your money for time. So what I mean by that is you are buying back your time. I'm not punching a clock. I am buying back my time with my family. I'm able to go on 1 month trips. I'm able to do all of these different things because I'm at the investor level. I'm not at the employee level. I'm not running my business day to day. You're above that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Time is so important. So I know it's getting close to the time. So, Heather, what does she build, she owns, she invests mean to you?
Such a good question. I have 2 daughters, and you really need to rely on yourself. You cannot, gone are the days where it's like, okay, you get married and you have a white picket fence and live happily ever after, and you're this stay-at-home mom, and it's all rainbows and gumdrops, and that doesn't exist. You get out of it what you put into it, and I think that women, number one, having a seat at the table is extremely important. And if there is not room at that table, you make yourself a seat at that table. You scooch in. And then number two, to be in charge, to be empowered. Do you know how empowering it is to have your own money and to have your own investment strategies and to have your own thing going on where you don't have to ask permission to do this, or, oh, I need some more money for that. It's a level of confidence. And again, going back to that law of attraction, you are going to attract people that are in the same mindset that you are. You are going to attract those winners, those investors, and it's just going to spiral up. It's just going to get better. Now, the exact opposite is true too. If you're, have a job and you're like, okay, well, I guess this is it for the rest of my life, you are going to find that all the people that you hang out with, you're going to be spiraling down. You're going to be trading your time for money for the rest of your life. So in order to take control of that and make your trajectory go up and to the left, you need to invest. And so I think this is such a needed platform, and kudos to you guys for putting.
And now, here's someone you want to hear from, our sponsor.
For over 15 years, Skyline Title has been a trusted name in Texas real estate. From first-time homebuyers to seasoned investors, our team ensures a smooth, reliable closing experience every time. Backed by a decade of partnerships and proven success, we take pride in protecting your biggest investment, your home. Visit SkylineHTX.com to learn more.
Thank you so much, Heather. This has been amazing. We are seeing all the comments on WhatsApp, Facebook. If you guys are not part of the groups, join us. We're gonna go to questions, so feel free to raise your hand and mute yourself, and while we go to the next session, so please let us please share your questions. And just for those really quick, while we start with questions, those who are in Houston, we have a mastermind this weekend. We're gonna share how to buy apartment buildings, everything that takes to take down those large assets. So if you're in Houston, join us. And that's the only event that we have. But don't forget to shop merch for She. And let's get back to the questions. So we have questions. I'll pass
Yeah.
around.
Yes, we do. One of the questions in the chat was, Heather, what are your thoughts on leaders in a company who struggle to let go and focus on working on the business rather than getting caught up in the day-to-day operations? And then the next, it's a two-part question. And how do you think this impacts their ability to scale and lead effectively? So I'll let you answer those two in
I have a
tandem.
lot of strong opinions on that. Okay, so I am going to send Jasmine. This is not an endorsement. I don't get paid by these people or anything. This is a system that I use. It's EOS, Entrepreneurs Operating System. And I use it. I'm that mean mom, and I make my kids set goals. So we have 90-day rocks. We do the whole system. We do EOS Life, and I do EOS. So I do it personally and I do it professionally. So that's where I would start. The problem is you don't have the right people in the right places. If you can't give up control of something, you don't trust that person to do it. If that is the case, you either have two problems. You have a square peg in a round hole, or you just have the wrong person, the wrong fit. And in either case, off like a Band-Aid. Off like a Band-Aid. Slow to hire, quick to fire, or find out what they're actually good at and put them in that position. In small companies, especially, you end up wearing a lot of hats, and sometimes they don't fit appropriate. So my biggest advice is EOS. If I were to do it all over again, I would hire an implementer and I would do the whole system with them. I did not do that. It took a lot longer than, it's right there in the, okay.
I just
Gino
put it in the
Wickman.
chat.
Got a whole
Gino
set, yeah.
Wickman, EOS.
Yes, I
It's
would
one of my mentors.
absolutely recommend that. And don't have all the confidence in the world like I did. And I self-implemented in a family business, and it took a lot longer. So pay the money and have someone implement it for you.
So one of the follow-up questions was also, what tips would you give to someone who is a partner or holds a high-ranking leadership position in navigating the challenge?
Navigating the challenge of being hands off.
Yeah, I think from it sounds like the partner, there's two people in a partnership, and take yourself off mute if you want to clarify what I'm reading here. But yeah, it sounds like they're trying to get to how one partner handles another one who isn't willing to make the decision to move from the day-to-day to the strategy.
Now, I don't know anything about this partner. It could be a family member, it could be, a childhood friend, whatever, that type of thing. You can only control yourself. So you've got a couple options. Number one would be the old, Solomon, split it down the middle and go your separate ways, have them absorb you, or work together. I mean, but you really have, I guess, three options. So split it. Either you buy out the partner, or the partner buys out you, or you learn to work together. And if you learn to work together, I would highly recommend some sort of consultant or an outside person coming in and working on that relationship prior to having these succession plannings. Let me give you an example. So as was stated, I own the company with three of my brothers, and three of us are married, have kids, bunch of stuff going on, this, that, the other, it's just life's crazy right now. And then I have one brother who is single. And when we were talking about succession planning, he also has severe anxiety, like diagnosed severe anxiety. And when we talk about succession planning, I mean, my other two brothers and I are like, great, this is going to be fabulous. Here's our 5-year goal. Here's our 10-year. Here, when someone comes to us with this number, no matter what, we are out, we are done. We have so many different things on our plate. This would be great. And my older brother's entire identity is wrapped up in this business. All of his best friends work there. He gets the accolades. He has nothing else. He doesn't have a girlfriend. He's just this single guy. And we have to take that into account. Like I said, fostering my family relationships is my number two. And we had an offer on the business, one of our companies, a couple years ago. And I was like, sell, done. I'm going to go hop into this. I mean, I had the money spent. Let me just tell you, like, I was done. And we had to take a step back, and he was having a severe, I would call it a prolonged panic attack, because it wasn't just like a day, it was like 2 months. Like, we couldn't get him under control. And we had to decide as a family, should we keep in conversation or keep my brother alive? There were two choices to go down. And it wasn't a choice, because I know that's my number two anchor, and I know my other two brothers feel very similarly. And so we decided to take a step back, walk away from that offer, and we helped my brother get on some different medication. He started going to therapy more regularly, and was able to talk out what he was so fearful of and having this anxiety. And we were able to, number one, not just salvage the relationship, but improve the relationship on that terrible experience. And then recently we had another offer on a different business. And it's funny because the entire outcome is different. Now he can see the forest for the trees. Now he has a plan as to what he would do if we exited that business. He's going to invest in this business. He can see the way forward. but that relationship with him was paramount. And so we walked away from it. Now, mine did have a happy ending because I have a better offer right now. Actually almost double what the offer was 3 years ago. But it doesn't always work out that way.
And we really appreciate you coming on and
No
sharing
problem.
your wonderful information about just how to work with each other and how to build an awesome business.
Thanks for having me.